listen to Wrestling Up on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Discord we got Josh.
Hey,
We are halfway through NXT Gold Rush, the first half concluding just right now as we are recording. But we talked about it last week, so I guess it makes sense to talk about the results. AAA World Mixed Tag Team Championship was on the line. It was Ethan Page and Chelsea Green doing amazing things as Team Canada, going up against fan favorites Joe Hendry and Thea Hale.
yeah. Uh, it was exactly what it needed to be. It was exactly what we expected it to be. Um, it was a great match, solid match. Um, and the result is exactly what we expected. Although I would have said if Hendry and Thea had won, it would have been the Joe Hendry effect, especially with the announcement that he's officially signed with WWE this past week.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I do think, as you say, this was the logical outcome. They did just pick up that mixed tag team championship. They are still hinting, Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana potentially going on after it. It was a good match, and it gave a bit of a showcase to Thea Hale as well. And yeah, Joe Hendry continues to pop up around the place as this time, I guess, as a WWE superstar.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see where we go from here with him. But at least now we can go, all right, full speed ahead with whatever's going to be. There's no jumping back.
100%. Well, then let's turn our attention to the next match. It was the Women's North American Championship. Blake Monroe recently picking it up, defending it against Sol Ruka. We'd already, it was lost because of Zarya, and then arguably this title match also lost because of Zarya as she threw in the towel to end the match.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's always interesting when they go this route with the non-submission submission with the towel.
Hmm.
Um, it again, it's more along the lines of the breaking up of Zarya and Solruka that needs to be done. To split them off and have them do their own thing. Um, and Blake Monroe just won the championship, did not need to lose it. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, as you say, it sort of propelled all of the storylines forward that we were expecting it to propel. We saw backstage as well, Zarya and Sol Ruka getting angry. Uh, it's pretty much there. We know next week, taping at the moment, but next week for airing week 2 of Gold Rush will be Zarya versus Fallon Henley for the Women's Speed Championship. I'm sure that this is gonna boil over, I guess, part 2 into next week. So we'll see how the storyline leads its way over there. NXT Tag Team titles are on the line. Dark State coming in. They technicalities do have the new champ buffs, but they were going up against Javon Evans, Leon Slater. We thought maybe that a can they coexist team would come out on top, but it was Dark State keeping a hold of their titles.
yeah. Um, it is what it is. At least it wasn't the uh situation where it was like one turned on the other, and that resulted in Dark Slate um winning. Although I guess technically you could look at Evans maybe being sour about Slater leaving the ring to deal with some of the other members of Dark Slate, and that got um, Evans out of the ring, so Slater got 2-on-1.
Yeah, I think there's a few things that you can put it towards. Also, I wouldn't discount the fact that Javon Evans just went one on one with Gunther as well as a bit of a weakening of the team heading into this match. But I gotta stop counting out Dark State, I guess, where I counted them out against the Hardys. They ended up coming up with the win. I counted them out here against Javon and Leon. They ended up coming up with the win. So maybe I should just stop betting against them. NXT.
Maybe.
NXT Women's Championship. It was the main event of the night. Tatum Paxley coming in as champion with the culling behind her, going up against JC Jane with Fatal Influence behind her. And ultimately, the end of the night, Tatum Paxley laying on the floor with nobody behind her once again.
Kind of exactly what we expected to happen. Um, I mean, we didn't expect the title to change hands, but kind of becomes obvious that that was the plan when Paxley completely like shot down everything that the Colleen wanted her to do with the title.
Mhm.
Um, that the end of this was going to be with Paxley in tears because it was either going to be she was going to lose the title because of the Colleen, or she was going to retain and then be destroyed by the Colleen.
Yeah, and it is sad, I guess, her character at this point kind of is the person who is perpetually friendless. People come along, friends for a short term, and then they just turn on her. It's quite a sad character for her to keep playing. Um, and I guess tonight she lost her title and her friend in Izzy. But we'll have to see what they do. The reason I think we were betting against a title change here is just because something with Tatum was new, where we could have some new matchups, whether that's Tatum Izzy for the title, however they wanted to spin out of this. Putting the title back on JC Jane does put question marks all over it again for me. And what are we actually going to do with the women's championship? We have just reverted on back to the state that it was a month ago. JC Jane had gone through most of the roster. Blake Monroe's off with the title already. Jordan Grace a little bit busy with the TNA title. I don't know. I don't know what's next for JC.
Well, we
Uh,
do know that Deadline is going to have the Iron Women Survivor Challenge. So
mm,
whoever ends up winning that might be the person that takes it off of JC. It's just a matter of who gets in it.
yeah, I saw announced during this week's show that the Iron Survivor competitors this year will be handpicked by John Cena. Don't know how storyline that is or how real that is, but he has talked about wanting to put over NXT, especially at that Saturday night main event show that will be his last match. So a little bit of a cool little cross promotional into that, and people can be handpicked by John Cena to be in that match, and one of them will walk out with a title opportunity.
It's possible. It's also possible he might pick people for like qualifier matches and make them earn it.
Maybe we'll see how it all spins out, and I want to do take a little bit of a look towards week two coming up next week. I did mention it earlier, the Women's Speed Championship, it's vacant because of the injury of Sol Ruka. Now here is the finals of the tournament. Zarya, Fallon, Henley. Henley's crew with JC Jane obviously just picking up the Women's Championship, and Zarya's fractured relationship with Sol Ruka. I got to imagine the odds go to Henley here.
More than likely. Um, Although I'll be completely honest with you, I think this could be like one of those like nudging them further and further over the edge situations where I think Zarya could win the title, and that could drive Soruka just crazy enough to turn on her.
Interesting. Yeah, uh, I think either way, they're in kind of a good spot, right? Zarya win, Zarya lose. They've both got a way to propel that story forward because I know Fallon Henley's obviously in the Fatal Influence sphere, but the story of this match is Sol and Zarya, especially with Sol having to give up the title. So whatever I guess the bookers feel like will propel that story forward better, win or loss. I'm all for it. I would love a Zarya title win. I ain't gonna say no to it. Uh, TNA Knockouts World Championship also on the line. Kalani Jordan coming in as champion. Jordan Grace, one of her opponents, hyping up the match this week, but also we got Leah Ying Lee, formerly Xia Lee in WWE, as the, I guess, TNA representative in this match for the TNA Knockouts World title.
I love Jordan Grace. I loved Xia Li when she was in WWE. Um, but I still feel like at least for the time being, this is Kalani Jordan's championship.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
think there's
hard to
some
like,
juice in it for sure.
yeah, it's just hard to like picture who takes it from her because of the devastation that has happened to the TNA knockout division from injuries and other things. Um, but but if anybody could do it, it would be Jordan Grace.
It is like extremely interesting because my one outcome from this match I don't want to see is Grace. I think she's obviously just come over from TNA, heavily involved in that Knockouts World title scene before she came over. I just don't want us to, revert to Grace as champion, but now she's an NXT star. Either continue your story with Kalani being kicked out of the locker room and sort of shunned by NXT and kind of pushed over to Team TNA that we would be told with those 5-on-5 matches, and then eventually a TNA star take the title back. Whether that's Xia Li next week or whether that's somebody 6 months down the line, I think those are the two pieces that need to work for me. Tell the Kalani Jordan story, and a TNA knockout end up taking the title at the end of it all. Uh, We've also got a couple of Evolve Championship matches. Now, I haven't been super eyes on the WWE Evolve scene. I don't know if you have to talk much about Jackson Drake defending his title against Sean Legacy or Kendall Gray defending her title against Lainey Reed.
No, I haven't watched it really either.
I think the
Uh,
only part here is that if Fallon Henley does capture the Speed Championship and Lainey Reed's able to knock off Kendall Gray and pick up the Evolve Championship, maybe all members of Fatal Influence could have gold.
Possible, but I think because I think of what they want Evolve to be, being a developmental for the developmental system, I don't see them doing that.
Entirely fair.
So I think Kendall Gray will probably retain.
Well, then, last match for next week, I believe, got announced during the show this week. Not a title match, not a gold rush. It's just Trick Williams, and it is Miles Bourne going 1-on-1.
I am seeing it's for an Iron Survivor Challenge qualifier.
Well, there you go.
So
You may have more up to date information. This is what happens when you record mere minutes after the airing of NXT.
uh, um yeah, I I like Miles Bourne, and I think he has a strong future ahead of him. So I think he's the. Honestly, I'd rather have him win it because I don't really care about Trick Williams at this point in NXT. I want him to come to the main roster.
Yeah, I think we're in that point, right, where he's due to go up. Maybe he's going to put over some people on the way, but I'm not invested in Trick Williams winning the NXT Championship again. Don't really want to see it. I want to see him up there competing for the main roster titles. So uh, to get that sort of fresh face and to not be Trick Williams, then Miles Bourne picks up the win. That's pretty much all there is there. And talking about new faces picking up championships, it's a strenuous transition, but I'm gonna use it. We have a brand new women's Intercontinental champion who we will talk about on the other side of the theme. But the theme is her theme, and that's why you're listening to Maxxine Dupri's song. Director Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. Let's talk that match with Becky Lynch. Maxxine Dupri had a back and forth feud. Little stoppages here and there in every match, just a little bit short. And thanks to AJ Lee, we got a brand new champ.
So happy for Maxine Dupri. She's worked so hard to improve,
Mm-hmm.
and um, so I'm so happy for her. I'm as happy for her as I was when Chelsea Green won the U.S. title the first time, um, because I just really like Maxine. I like the hard work. I liked her character in general anyway, and I just love the stuff she does with Tozawa and Otis. Um, and it was always AJ Lee was going to be involved somehow in Becky Lynch losing the title. I'm just glad it wasn't more of a physical involvement and just a distraction. Now the question will be, how long will Dupree hold the title? Because I don't think she holds it that long.
You don't believe in a long year-long title reign from Dupri?
No, I think a month or two is probably pushing it, especially since she's only the third champion and the first two have held the title for over 140 each. I think they're due a short reign.
Fair enough.
And it's nothing against Maxxine Dupri. It's just I just don't see like I could see her maybe getting screwed over by Becky being angry about the title change or something along that line or she just runs into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, I think because of the way that she picked it up and because of her character, it very much could be a loss out of nowhere that you don't see coming. I do hope she gets, at least a couple of defenses under her belt, just to propel her forward. I think this is amazing for her, as you say, a big reward for all of the hard work that she's put in. Um, and yeah, excited to see what we tell. The story does still appear to be Becky Lynch, AJ Lee, and that's the only sort of worrisome part towards that title reign, as you said, with Maxxine Dupri. Because Becky's not going to want to give up the title, but Becky's kind of feuding with AJ. I know Seth Rollins, Becky's husband, was feuding with half the roster at one point in time, but Becky isn't quite there in terms of feuds open just yet. But we'll see how this piece develops. And I don't want to get too much into the War Games matches, but we do know what sort of combinations we're getting now. And I do want to mention it just because we keep talking in, weeks, months past of what exact combination are we going to get. I want to go woman first just because that's the vibe that we are on. SmackDown comes along. Charlotte says, hey, I ain't going to be joining with you guys for War Games. I'm out skis, and then comes on out, saves her not quite friend, Alexa Bliss and Ripley and Sky, and sort of faces off and seemingly is back on board. There is still a spot if they are doing 5-on-5 in each of the teams. But for the most part, it does look like it'll be Ripley and Sky teaming up with Bliss and Flair going against Jackson Legend and the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah. Um I don't know what the plan is, but it's definitely interesting that they acknowledge like the issues that they have between each other. Um, that was a neat little moment. Um, that you it's just because you're on the same alignment doesn't mean you like this person and want to work with them, and that's definitely along the lines of what was said here in this match in this promo on SmackDown. I'm I'm still not fully sure like what they're doing here. Um, this could be the door opener for Liv Morgan to return, um, which would be interesting. Um, it could be that they open the door for maybe they'll have like I don't know. Maybe they'll introduce Bloodsport Natalia.
Yeah.
Um, and but I don't know. there's just a lot. It just creates so many questions that intrigues me on a match that I wasn't very interested in to begin with.
Yeah, I do think I wouldn't even call it a twist, right? The little bit of a wrinkle with Charlotte has kind of uh, put a bit of a flair, put a bit of a spice onto the top of the War Games match. So does make you a little bit more excited for it for sure. And then if we look on the men's side, on SmackDown, we saw Jimmy Uso joining the Faces. We saw Paul Heyman picking Drew McIntyre, even though he is suspended, to be on that side. And then Raw comes along, and the inevitable Roman Reigns joining War Games on the face side, while Brock Lesnar joins it on the heel side. We have our five.
Yep. And also we had something that would not have flied 5 years ago that happened with the choking of Logan Paul with a kendo stick by CM Punk. Uh, yeah, the security didn't care at all. They just cared more about keeping Brock and Roman apart.
Which,
Um,
to be fair, if you've seen Brock and Roman go at it any of the
I mean,
100 times they have, it is a worry.
yeah, yeah. I mean, all you have to do is go back to the SummerSlam like 2021 match. I think it was 21, might have been 22, but that's the one that Brock turned the ring sideways with the backhoe.
Hmm.
um, so yeah, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be one of those like really brutal matches, and and I think it might end up being the best War Games match that they've ever had.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it all goes, and again, I'll get more into the prediction side of things next week. But I think it's kind of classic matchup that you can expect, where everybody's got a foil on the other side, right? Cody Rhodes is feuding against Drew McIntyre. They're on opposite sides. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, they're perpetually feuding with each other. The Usos together as a team against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker together as a team, and what I assume would have been CM Punk going opposite Seth Rollins to continue that feud. We've slotted in Logan Paul instead, but it does still keep everybody fairly even and fairly foiled up, I guess, when you look at the two teams side by side.
Yeah.
Also wanting to jump over and talk a little bit about the Last Time Is Now tournament. It's been heating up. We're getting through more and more of the matches. We saw Gunther taking out Javon Evans. We saw Solo Sikoa taking out the returning or the cameoing, I guess, Dolph Ziggler. We also saw LA Knight on SmackDown taking out the cameoing Zack Ryder. Jey Uso defeating The Miz. We also know our last two matchups, our first round matchups being Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed, Penta versus Finn Balor. We now know the full field, I guess. Is there a favorite sticking out for you? Either a favorite to win or a favorite that you want to go up against John Cena with who's left in that field?
Well, the person that's going to win is Gunther, regardless of how I feel about
Let's put that
it.
on a shelf. What if Gunther wasn't in it?
If, well, if Gunther wasn't in it, I think the person I would have liked to see win it would have been Javon Evans. Could you imagine the like level of like respect and uh things that you could have given him from beginning the year with his match with Randy Orton and then ending it with beating John Cena?
Yeah, it would
Um
be to the moon.
uh because the Miz lost, I don't really care there. Because the Miz would have been another one I would have liked to have seen win it, because the Miz should have done something with Cena
100%.
uh, during this year. Um, Sheamus should have done something with him outside of the triple threat 6-man tag match that we had on Raw, um, which is why he won't win, unfortunately. So
I'm with you, right? I think that
yeah.
it would have been Miz or Sheamus for my pick, and you've knocked them both out for the very reasons that I've knocked them out in my expectations as well.
Well, in fairness to Miz, we didn't knock him out in our
That's true.
expectations.
Jay did.
WWE did by having him get beaten by Jey Uso. So I'd say this: if anybody could save us from Gunther, it would be Jey Uso.
Maybe. Well, we'll see how it all spins out, how the sort of bracket looks like. I know we know a couple of the quarterfinal matchups, but we'll see once we got the other two, maybe the full bracket, what we're looking at. And we'll keep an eye on this Last Time Is Now tournament. But you did mention a match with John Cena on Raw, final Raw match, final Madison Square Garden. We got 2 dates left after this. It's Survivor Series against Dominic, and it is the Saturday night main event against the winner of that tournament. But send us home happy in his last Raw match. We got 6-man tag, Judgment Day going up just to get beaten by John Cena, Sheamus, and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, there were a couple of nice moments in the match. You had the 3-way 10 beats of the Bowdron. That was a fun moment. And then the triple 5-knuckle shuffle, which Sheamus actually repositioned him so that Cena could be in the center of it, which was neat. Um, it was what it needed to be um for what it was. Um, and honestly, if that is Sheamus's last moment with Cena, that was fine. It's fine. Um, but that match also eliminates Finn Balor from winning the tournament.
To be fair, I think Penta might eliminate Finn Balor from this tournament, but
Yeah.
yeah,
By the time that this airs, he may have already been eliminated.
that
But
is
yeah,
true.
it's just but yeah, I mean, we have two, and we also found out that the second to last appearance is going to be a rematch for the Intercontinental title for Dominic Mysterio.
It makes a whole lot of sense, and I'm sure we'll get into our predictions for that match as well next week when we take a look at Survivor Series. But I have to inform you, we have run out of time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye, B.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling R&D Upper, our Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling R&D Upper, our YouTube page, youtube.com/wrestling RND Up, and we will catch you next week.